The reason why most salespeople are unhappy is because they're pursuing extrinsic goals. And the answer is simple but not easy, and that is focus on intrinsic goals. You ever wonder why salespeople seem to be unhappy? There was a recent survey done this year in which salespeople were surveyed to rate their mental health, and over 70% of salespeople rated their mental health as fair or poor. And to be honest, a lot of them are chasing a feeling of being successful that they think will bring them happiness, joy, peace, fulfillment. And when they get that success, it doesn't deliver what they thought it would. And the cycle continues because now they want to do it again and repeat it, and they feel even higher expectations and higher pressure than they did before when they were playing at that lower level versus being a top performer. And so today, in today's video, I'm going to talk about why salespeople are generally unhappy and how you could live and function as not only a top performing salesperson, but one that's doing it with integrity and fulfillment and joy every step of the way. If it sounds too good to be true, then keep watching because I'll break down exactly how to do that. So let's start with one of my favorite quotes about this. And it's from Jim Carrey. He says, "I wish everybody could get rich and famous and have everything they ever dreamed of so they will know it's not the answer." Now, I've been chasing peace for the past few years, but most of my career and most of my life, I've been chasing success and external motivators, nice house, security, financial freedom. And so I have a lot of experience kind of doing things in the pursuit of extrinsic goals, and now I'm pursuing more spiritual and purpose-driven goals. And I can tell you firsthand that to get to that point where you start pursuing the peace and pursuing fulfillment and joy and happiness, typically you have to get to a point where you achieve what you thought you wanted, and then you realize it's not actually what you wanted. So that's why I like this quote a lot. It says, "I wish everyone could have everything they wanted in life so they can realize it's not the answer." And my personal belief is that you have to go through that journey and experiencing that for yourself. If I just tell you don't chase money, don't chase success, don't chase the being number one at your company, that's BS, because that's what I did. And honestly, it got me a very good life and a lot of security. My wife can be a full-time mom, which is what she wants to do. We have a beautiful home. We have a lake house. We can say yes to what we want when we want. I could left corporate at 41 years old to go start a business with a lot of financial freedom to have a long runway, which most new business owners don't have. I had a 20-year runway. I couldn't have done any of that without sales. So for me to say, don't try to be the best seller because it's not going to make you happy is not true. I think you should do that. I think that's everybody's journey. And to be a top performing seller in tech sales specifically, if you're consistently doing that, you're going to make between $500,000 to $1 million per year consistently. I was averaging about $720K a year my last 4 years of Salesforce. And I share that because that's life-changing money. And it does give you a huge nest egg as long as you invest it wisely and save your money and don't have lifestyle creep. It gives you a big nest egg. But what I realized in doing that and chasing the money and being successful is I didn't have fulfillment. I came to a point where I didn't find fulfillment and peace in what I was doing. And so my past really 3 or 4 years, I'd say the past 4 years have been about finding peace and fulfillment through family, through health, through service, through entrepreneurship. And it has delivered a lot of that, but it's still a work in progress. I still find myself chasing a lot of times and playing the comparison game and trying to achieve a certain level that I think is possible in business. So it doesn't go away, but it does shift direction. So let's talk about why salespeople are unhappy and what you can do about it to feel happy and fulfilled, as I promised you. So the reason why most salespeople are unhappy, or I'd say mildly happy, but definitely not very happy, it's either fair or not happy is what I've seen from a lot of people, is because they're pursuing extrinsic goals. And extrinsic goals are anything that is external to you. So think of extrinsic goals as wealth, recognition, wanting to make the club, wanting to be affirmed by other people, right? For me, it was like pursuit of my full potential. It was like, I know I'm capable of being number one. I know I'm capable of being the best. And when I was just average or underperforming, it felt like I was a failure. And I wanted to basically have that ego of feeling worthy of what I knew I could do. So it could be ego, it could be net worth or savings, or home or cars that you want, or maybe a nice watch, or perhaps nice clothing. But no matter what you do, if you're chasing these things, there's always a higher level. When you get a nice house, right? You might want a bigger house as you have kids, or maybe you want a second house. If you have a car, you might want a nicer car, right? If you want clothes, like it's only going to get you so much. There's always another level of wealth. I mean, I know this now, right? Again, my goal was always get net worth of 5 million plus. When I got there, it was like that shifted to 10 million, right? And you always have another level where you feel secure, where you feel, because what happens is your lifestyle tends to creep. At least mine did. As I was more successful, I started going on better vacations or eating better, restaurants, got a second mortgage, right? So these things now require me to continue making the money that I was used to. And it's a chase that never stops. You fly commercial, you could start flying first class. You stay at a $300 a night hotel, goes up to $500. Now we're staying at $1,200 a night hotels. It's a different experience, but that pursuit of better does tend to trap you a little bit because you need to maintain that lifestyle, okay? And I'm saying this again from firsthand experience. There's a constant chasing. There's a chasing of the next level. When you're constantly chasing, you don't necessarily enjoy where you are today. It's hard to be present. It's hard to have peace because chasing is chaotic and running is chaotic. And you can't just sit down to breathe and recognize how far you've come. So what is the answer? How do you go from pursuing and chasing success to finding peace and fulfillment, happiness and joy and presence in what you're doing? And the answer is simple but not easy, and that is focus on intrinsic goals. So let's talk about what intrinsic goals are and specifically how you could focus on them. So the first thing that I try to focus on, which is core to how I show up every day, is what's called living with integrity. And at the end of this video, I'm going to give a separate video where I talk in detail about what this looks like. But to give you the short version, integrity is living your values every day. So if we have a line right here, this represents your values, okay? And it's going up. The reason why it's going up is because we have higher standards for ourselves as we get older. Our values evolve. Whereas when we're 20s, we might just focus on working hard, making a lot of money. When we're in our 30s or 40s, maybe we have a family. Maybe we are married and we want to be a better partner to our spouses. We want to be a better father, someone who's patient, who's present. Maybe we have different goals financially as we evolve in our career. Maybe we expect more for ourselves. That's what midlife crises are all about, right? So this is our values. This is our identity. This is how we see ourselves. And this line represents, okay, our actions and our behaviors. And to the extent that your values don't align with your actions or your behaviors, you are going to experience an integrity gap. This is something that I copyrighted with the United States. It's called the integrity gap. Again, I'll leave a video. But if you chase this every day, living with an integrity, you're going to show up as your authentic self and you're going to feel good about yourself. Imposter syndrome will go away. Perfectionism will go away because you're doing your best. So I'll give you a couple examples. If my values are I'm a hard worker, but I slack off during the day, I get distracted, I don't do what I know is important for my business, I'm going to feel an integrity gap. If my values are that I'm healthy, but I'm not going to the gym or eating healthy or drinking water, I have an integrity gap. So the distance between your actions and your values is the level of unhappiness you experience. If you have secrets, if you have vices, if you're wasting time and you see yourself as someone who's disciplined, right, you're going to have a massive integrity gap. If you want to fill the integrity gap, this is what I work on with my clients. And I find that then extends to how they perform at work, because they show up as disciplined, as organized, as someone who's willing to do the hard things like prospect to power, prospect to executives, do deep work, build a point of view. It starts with identifying your values and living your values and having accountability and standards for how you show up with your actions and behaviors. That's an intrinsic goal, living with integrity. The second one is growth. This means we're getting better. We're learning new skills. We're learning new things. We're evolving. We're not just doing the same thing we did before. Because if you do, you're not going to get the same results, because the market changes and the world changes around you. So it's always making sure you're staying sharp, physically, mentally, and spiritually. You have to be pursuing goals that require you to step up and require you to change. Personal growth, personal development is key. That's the second intrinsic goal. The third one is service. And this is about feeling like what we do matters, feeling like we are serving others. If it's all about ourselves and we're just chasing the extrinsic, money, success, right, recognition, it's not in service of other people's, it's in service of ourselves. We get so much joy, so much more joy from giving and serving than we do from receiving. And so knowing that you have purpose, knowing that you have something you're contributing to, whether it's at your work or maybe it's not at your work, maybe it's at your personal life, feeling like you're serving your family at the highest level, you're providing for them well, you're serving your community, maybe you're coaching, but you have to feel like what you do is in service of other people. That is core to success. And that is a fundamental intrinsic goal. And the last one is your connection with other people. It's your relationships. It's your relationships. It's making sure you have high quality relationships with your immediate family, with your extended family, with your friends. So I share this because these things require you taking a shift from the extrinsic towards the intrinsic. And if this is something that you're struggling with, if you are a high performer or you're making pretty good money, $200,000-300,000 a year, but you're not fulfilled, you're grinding, you're not spending time on these quality relationships or health, or you don't feel like you're contributing, you're not living with full integrity, this is the coaching that I provide. I'll put a link at the end and we can work together and I'll help you find peace and happiness and fulfillment and presence in the life that you have. Because let's face it, making $200,000-400,000 a year, you should be happy. You got a great job, you got independence, yet you don't feel the way you're seeking. And it's not going to come from doing even better. It's going to come from living your values and deep connections and growing and contributing and serving others. And if you're not there yet, and if you're chasing wanting to be number one, hey, more power to you. If you're chasing wanting to make $500,000 to $1 million, that's part of your journey. And I can help you there too. And we can work on your skills to take your career to the next level, to sell big accounts, to sell large deals, to transform companies, to shift from transactional to strategic. And if you focus on these things, but not the success, then you're going to have your own set of struggles financially or feeling like you're not living to your potential. And that sucks too. And what I'm telling you is you need both. You need to feel accomplished in your career, and you need to make sure you feel like your life matters, you're growing, and you're serving others. So if you're interested in helping me help you in getting the help to make as much as you can and do as well as you can, but do it the right way with integrity, with service, and with connection at your core, here's a link to book a call with my team. We can see if you're a good fit. And here's the other link I promised for the integrity gap. I'll see you guys later. Take care.